Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one of my videos. Originally I was going to call this Are You Ready to Fly? But I wanted to put a little bit more energy into it, so I'm calling it When Not to Fly in regards to paragliding. So what's the idea behind this video? It's the same thing as all the other videos I make. I like to promote safety, awareness, and in this case something a little bit more personal. Now, first and foremost, do not be ashamed if you've landed on one of these topics. I'm going to cover quite a few things here. And most importantly, don't shame somebody else for having landed on one of these topics. It's really important. We want to keep the morale high, confidence high, awareness high. And if it's not already a major part of your life, it soon will be. And for a lot of us, it's the best part of our life. So that's why we're sharing this. We're going to build and we're going to grow together. Alrighty, first one is you must have a clear view of the LZ. Hey, there's nothing wrong with waiting a few hours. Absolutely. It's possibly going to lift. Let's give it the time. But yeah, there's nothing worse than driving out for an hour or two to get to the site. You get up on launch and you find out that you're socked in. Well, we know our VFR rules on that one, as well as you need to be able to see your LZ. Alrighty, number 2. What is too high of a wind? Question being, what's the trim speed of your glider? And when will penetration become of a major concern? We don't want to push this because usually we're flying with a little brake anyway. It's fantastic if there's an anemometer on a tower or two in your area. You can look at the predictions. You can look at what the actuals are, if it's growing or dissipating for the day. And of course, it's always great to have a wind meter on launch so you can see what the actual wind is before you set up. Okay, now another one, number 3. This would be involving a cross angle wind, and it's persistent through the entire day. What the heck is this? You know, we haven't flown for a couple months, we're jonesing, we want to get up there, we want to fly, we want to get off the hill, we're maybe on vacation, you've spent $2,000 on plane fares, accommodations, and now you want to fly. I want to get off this hill. Hold it. That briefing that you're going to get from your local pilots is worth $1 million. Why? Because those rocks and trees over there, when you have a cross-angled wind, can be disastrous to your launch and to your first few moments of flying, which is the most important because you're very close to the ground. Number 4, why we would not want to fly. And that would be a low wind, congested coastal site. So here we can see the wind coming in off the ocean, a nice clean 15 kilometers an hour straight in for this example. And everyone's getting ready, everyone's excited to go flying. Okay, so the first 1 or 2 pilots go off, and they're able to stay up in a very small egg of lift. They're noticing that they sink out really easily, and they have to stay really tight to the hill if they want to stay up, really obeying the ridge rules. Why? Because they've only got 15 kilometers an hour wind to work with. Okay, now look at that. Great, we got 20 kilometers an hour wind coming in. The egg bubble is now bigger, and more pilots are able to come out and join, and of course, a bigger area, more spatial awareness, and more room to work back and forth on the ridge. This is getting nice. Awesome, now we've got 20 pilots out there moving back and forth freely, getting lots and lots of height, having a really good time. This is an incredible Saturday afternoon. Wow. Keep in mind, some of these pilots haven't flown for a month, but they've had great flights today, 3-4 hour flights, just incredible. So they land, they have dinner, and they are ready to come back tomorrow. Okay, so here we are, Sunday morning, ready to go, 10:30. Everybody's clipped in and ready to launch. 1 or 2 guys go out. Oh, they have to stay really tight to the ridge. Now the other 15 want to get out there as well. So what starts happening is congestion is a big deal now because they are so close together, trying to pass on the ridge, risking. All it takes is one pilot out there that maybe doesn't know the bridge rules that well or is not practicing them that well, and you have yourself a catastrophic event. As a new pilot at a new site, this is not the time to be launching. Wait until the lift band is bigger. And a few might have went and landed as well. There's no flight we have to do today that will jeopardize our ability to fly tomorrow. Number 5, you may be overtired, you may have a headache, or you may be dehydrated. These are all reasons as to why you will be unfocused and not safe for yourself as well as others. So super important. There might be a day where you're standing there going, nope, I'm not launching. This is not safe. And number 6, one that is a close parallel with the previous one, is relationship problems. I've never actually been in this situation, but I've heard guys saying to their lovely lady, honey, I know it's your birthday, but I've got to go flying. It's on. We haven't flown in 2 months. The weather's been horrible. I got to go. Don't worry, I'll be back for 5. Point is, being stressed and flying is not a good combination. Alrighty, number 7, never be in a rush. This is super important. This could be setting up, or this could also be the launch itself. I can tell you so many times with myself and some of the people I know that when you rush, you forget things, you're not clear in the mind, you can overlook something, and it's simply not a good time to launch. It's when you're in a rush. Number 8, let's take a look at this one. Okay, so you're getting near the beginning of spring. You haven't flown too much in the last few months. It's been a wet winter, and now we're getting into some strong conditions. So, are you ready? Or might this be a day that you're going to do some ground handling and get really good and comfortable with that high wind before launching in it? Number 9, physically sore or in pain. Why is this important that we would not launch with this? Well, it could hinder your launch. It could stop you from flying your wing correctly. It may hinder your landing when you're coming in. Also, if you get a big collapse, do you have the physical ability to put in the correct input at the right time, the right amount, and keep flying safely straight? Now this next one needs really no mention, but we must mention it anyway because it's common sense that you would never fly with drugs or alcohol. But you'd be surprised how many people go to the pub, have a beer, and hey, let's go back to the hill. No, how about not? You could kill yourself, you could kill somebody else, your judgment will be off. Even if it's just slight, it's enough to stop you from making the correct action with the correct input at the correct time. And you'll hear, oh, but it's just a glass of wine, and besides it was with dinner. No. Number 11, it's a big lapse rate day. You're at a punchy site, and it's midday. Question, are you going to launch in this? Pilots are going to 10,000 feet. Those thermals will have sharp edges and they will be punchy. So how current are you? How new of a pilot are you? Are you ready for this type of activity? You simply might wait till 6 o'clock and launch when the conditions have come down a little bit and enjoy a glorious 2-hour flight. Still great lift, just not as punchy. Number 12, another time not to launch is when you're being pushed off of the hill, pushed off of the launch. Some guy in the back said, come on, man. I would have taken that one. That was a good one. Why didn't you go? Come on, go. Okay, you ball up your wing, you move off to the side of the launch, and you point at the guy and say, you go. And oh, no, come on, man. I was just joking. No, go ahead. No, that will make an example for the other pilots to not do what this guy just did, which made an unsafe environment. And please never do this to a pilot because it can add a tremendous amount of anxiety on top of the anxiety that's already going on inside the pilot. Number 13, never launch with anything of a tailwind. Look at the trees up behind. If you don't have any wind at all, and make darn sure there's nothing coming over the top. What happens is your wing goes up to 18 feet, and if there is anything of a tailwind, it could be meeting your wing just as you're leaving the launch, which is not necessarily the effect you want to have out front, losing all pressure just as you're launching. And number 15, never launch with a knot or a tangle. When you're bringing your wing up, don't be in a massive rush to get off the hill. Stop and just ground handle the wing for a moment, inspect it, and really take the time to see if there's any knots, sticks, or tangles in there. Sticks are pretty easy to see, but knots and tangles, not so easy. It only takes but a moment to bring it down, release the knot, and launch again. Another moment as to when you will not want to fly is when you notice you have a cravat. Simply bring the wing back down, take the line out from behind the wing, because that's what created the cravat in the first place, rebuild the wall, make sure all your lines are clear, and relaunch your paraglider. Number 17, never launch when a dust devil is present. It's pretty easy to understand why. You're going to be thrown around a bit, and if you happen to get caught in one, fly your wing as long as it's flying. And if you come down quickly, just remember, be ready for that PLR and get off your feet and roll. Now it's normal to be a little bit anxious before a flight. Most of us are. It's good to have that feeling of anxiousness turn into accurate thinking. But there is some pilots I also know of that become overly nervous about their situation. And that might be the day to just hang out, watch, take some photos, maybe go down, ground handle for a few hours, and then come back when it's a bit more calm and you're more relaxed. And number 19, please make sure you walk your LZ. I've been to 58 different sites around the world. I've been very lucky to travel for a job, And every site that I go to, I always walk the LZ first. I want to see what my obstacles are. I want to see what I'm going to have to deal with when I get down in there. Looking from above, it looks like this LZ is surrounded by a bunch of shrubs. Later, to find out they're 100-foot trees. And the 20th point as to why you would not fly is because you don't have any way of electronic communication. Sure, you're only half a kilometer away, and for whatever reason, you accidentally end up in a tree. Pilots can see you, they know that it's happened, but do you know that search and rescue is on its way or not? Additionally, be sure to have a device that works outside of the cell phone range, because you never know if you're going to need it or not. If by chance you do happen to give a radio to one of your ground crew, please let them know and inform them this is not a walkie-talkie, it's only to be used for emergency only. And in the case of our ham radios, only short, concise, and precise comments should be made. Of course, pickup location will also be acceptable. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching another one of my videos. If you like it, please do hit that like button, share with others, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you not only on launch, but in the sky. We'll see you out there.